I recently came across this gorgeous copy of Ecco Defender of the Future in person in a shop, and I got so excited. It's pretty rare for me to find Dreamcast games in the wild like that. It had been a little while since I'd played an Ecco game, and I'd always had this perception in my head of Ecco as a girl. While crashing around in the first game, I'd always go, oh no, she fell down. It doesn't make much of a difference, really, but I wasn't sure why I thought Ecco was a girl, so I looked it up. And here we come to the gates of this video's topic. What's up with this article? Actually, scratch that. What's up with this website? While Ecco is a unisex name in some cultures and the character's design might appear androgynous to some, canon material and developer statements consistently confirm his male identity. Okay, that's the answer then. What's all this? That's a lot of frequently asked questions. The enigmatic Ecco, a deep dive. Genital slit. A female dolphin has a genital slit located near the anus. In contrast, a male dolphin has a genital slit that houses the penis. How would you tell? Mammary slits. Female dolphins possess mammary slits on either side of their genital slit. These are used for nursing their young. I don't think that came up in Ecco. Maybe I missed it. Observing courtship and mating behaviours can also help determine gender. While this doesn't apply to the game, it's relevant in real-world dolphin identification. Oh my god, there's so much of it. God. Yes, the absence of distinct sexual characteristics in Ecco's in-game model significantly contributes to the uncertainty surrounding his gender. I can't even read it. So Ecco's not like the trans cow from Barnyard. Yes, numerous fan theories explore various aspects of Ecco's character, including his gender identity. However, these theories remain speculative and do not reflect the established canon. It's important to distinguish between headcanon and official sources. Oh my god, I'm being told off by this AI article. That's really funny. So, here's the dilemma I was struck with. After reading through all of this, I couldn't decide if it was written with AI or not. Forgive me my innocence, dear viewer. I know. I know. It has that redundant repetition you get from AI articles when it tries to draw out your time reading it by answering the same question over and over and over again. I mean, it just keeps going. The fact that it's italicized every time, it just seems so passionate, like she's answered this question so many times. She's plagued by hordes of Ecco fans who refuse to believe that Ecco is a boy. It was so delightful to me that a person could have written this. I wanted to believe that Lauren Bash was a real person. I guess I'm a trans Ecco truther now. I've left the funniest part of this article for last, and that is, of course, the fact that it's hosted on the website for EWASH, a website that seems at a glance to be about the ocean in general. There's this dolphins and sharks article. No, wait, the blog posts are about animals. Just animals in general? Ugh. Is it an animal charity? Let's look at the About section. Oh. Oh dear. Now, if you only looked at the articles on this website, I'd forgive you for also thinking it was some sort of ocean conservation thing or animal rights group. What if I told you that EWASH was established in 2002 to aid people in occupied Gaza and look into why they don't have access to clean water and human rights? I think, if I told you that, you'd probably have some questions about the chinchilla piss article. I definitely did. Seems a little, I don't know, insensitive. Completely irrelevant? What about Ecco? Remember when this video was about Ecco? When I was trying to find information about the organisation that EWASH either is or was, one of the most telling things I found was this report on a website called NGO Monitor. They describe EWASH as an organisation that was founded in 2002 after what is calls... What? It's always a good sign when there's a typo right at the top. Whatever, they basically say what I told you. They were established to improve water sanitation and access in occupied Palestine. Now, if you are someone with a functioning brain, it becomes quite clear what they think of this work as you scroll down and read their thoughts in the political advocacy section. Just out of interest, for no reason at all, I feel the need to tell you that NGO Monitor is described on Wikipedia as, quote, a right-wing organisation based in Jerusalem that reports on international NGO activity from a pro-Israel perspective. You probably didn't need me to tell you that, though. An NGO, by the way, is a non-governmental organisation. Basically, they don't like when people organise aid independently to help others when they feel like their governments are being useless and cruel. What lovely, reasonable, unbiased people. I'd like to also just linger for a second on the phrase politicised organisations and perhaps pose the question, what's an unpoliticised organisation? Wouldn't that be pointless? Anyway, it's genuinely a shame that this is one of the more visible, comprehensive descriptions of what this organisation did, seeing as their own website is a shell of its former self. I'd like to pose a question now. What happened to ewash.org? Why is it this now? The website's copyright marker says it's still 2025, so we can assume it was either last updated by its real owners then, or the nonsensical mastermind who took it over didn't notice a year had gone by. I had a look at where they said their office is, just for curiosity's sake, and apparently it's being redeveloped, or it has been, early 2026. Doesn't appear to be a list of businesses and organisations, kind of a net nothing of information there. Lovely blurry picture though. This building is nightmarish. Can I just say, I hate when you click on a website with a summary and it takes you to a page that doesn't contain the text you just read. It drives me crazy. I know it's in the code, it's just annoying. With that out of the way, let's look at the EWASH website in its current state. These links are mostly dead, but presumably the water page is accessible because this water article replaced a page that had previously also been called water. Nobody's bothered to make sure the website actually works, it seems. All of the articles on the site are written by women with comically English names and no faces and no Facebook profiles, I checked. Oh, sorry, and Stuart Jeffrey. I'm not telling you how to do your job, AI overlords, but I think if you're going to have people credited for writing these articles, they should have profiles or something. How do you decide which one's going to write which article? Do you have a wheel? I made an attempt to count the writers on this website, but I stopped partway when it started to feel like a fool's errand. What's that proving? There's a lot of bots? We knew that. Jessica Clifton's first article, Can Birds See Glass, was published in January of 2024. I was surprised it went back that far. I decided to see what the first article on the website was, and hey, what a coincidence, it was published in January of 2024, on the exact same day. Huh. Now that I'm looking, so is this one. And this one. And, well, you get the idea. Also, we fixed the ozone layer. What are you talking about? It's not sunscreen. I'm calm. I'm not saying it's unrealistic to publish multiple pre-written articles in one day. I'm saying I don't believe that a person touched this with a barge pole. Wait, a Sonic article? They're using AI to generate power scaling content? Taking the work out of the sticky hands of 14-year-olds the world over. That's pure evil. From this, we can probably assume the website was taken over by bots in 2023 to 24. Lauren Bash, Jessica Clifton, Madeline Olivia, Stuart Jeffrey. I don't believe that any of these people exist. I had a look, and it seems like if these aren't just randomly generated names, they picked the names of people interested in environmentalism and travel and that sort of thing, who write blogs and post on Instagram. Oh, Stuart Jeffrey's an MP. Green MP. Let's go. If you're a real person who writes for this website, come to my house and throw darts at my head. You won't. You know why? 'Cause you're not real. It's so deeply important to know where you're getting your information from, especially at a time when the thing churning out masses of information doesn't know what's coming out of its metaphorical mouth. Research is a vital skill, which leads me on to the next layer of my video, the Internet Archive bit. I want to know what happened to ewash.org in more detail than its articles can tell me. So I'm going to tell you a story in captures from the Wayback Machine. Ah, breathe a sigh of relief. This is what websites should look like. The EWASH website seems to have been born in October of 2010. Look, you can even see their test posts. It's nice to see a website that actually seems to contain the soul of the people who made it. We have this list of articles at the top. We're not spewing random shit about the ozone layer and bored horses. No Ecco either, I checked. He could have been there, he was around in 2010. I couldn't reach the About Us page, and in general, most of the links to other parts of the site haven't been archived. I found that disappointing and sad. You can switch to the Arabic PHP, which actually barely changes anything, thank you so much. If only I could read Arabic. The last time we'll see this version of the EWASH website is 2017. When we click through to 2018... Sometimes when you click around this timeline, you'll reach a page called epn.org for the Electronic Policy Network. There's a bit of a separate rabbit hole I fell into about this that I've decided to cut out, but basically at some point EPN and EWASH get conflated into the same timeline. That's why we find this EPN here with completely unrelated junk on it. It's also where I found the e-poker network. But that's for another day. I think the same AI article nonsense must have happened to that website as well. When you search for epn.org now, you'll find yourself surrounded by Flash games? But not Flash. Ah, Chase Phillip, a classic Vietnamese name. Back to the timeline. We're at Name Silo for a little bit, and then here we are. The first capture I could find for an EWASH site that matches our current one was taken in October of 2025 last year. How weird is that? The article's dated back to 2024 must be labelled wrong to make it seem like it has a history and a backlog. The sidebar of articles changes quite frequently, and they're still being added with recent dates. For example, today, on the 23rd of August 2026, as I'm speaking, an article was uploaded to the Animals category. About Navy SEALs! You can't make this shit up. So, did the people who currently own ewash.org deliberately put the ewash branding back onto it before putting the AI shit on there? Or am I being a conspiracy theorist? I feel like ewash must have owned this themselves at some point, right? Or it wouldn't have all their branding. To me, there is something quite grotesque about all of this. As funny as a sidebar containing the questions, can I marry a tree and can I legally fight a kangaroo is, the answers being kinda yes and absolutely not. There's this bleak emptiness when you click on one of these and scroll through it. It really reminds me of when social media accounts would get hacked and their posts would become ads or malware links. Somehow this feels worse. It would be one thing if the site had been renamed, but having it up like this is horrible. Can people just take over abandoned websites and fill them with AI nonsense? I suppose they must be able to, or this wouldn't have happened. It's like a noxious creature slithering into the abandoned shell of a dead snail. I guess I just don't really understand why. How do we make sense of this? Is this a way people train generative AI, making it spit out half-remembered elements of articles and books they've fed it? Is this generating some sort of value? Is it attempting to actually be a source of information about animals, Navy SEALs included? Does someone get money every time I click on another one of these dog water articles? Hello? Are people even involved in any part of this process at all? What happened to EWASH? The acronym WASH stands for Water Sanitation and Hygiene, so that might be making it hard to find out what specifically happened to EWASH, the organisation. Confusingly, there's an organisation with a website called washnigeria.com, which is another NGO called the Bread of Life Foundation. They have EWASH all big at the top of their site, but to my knowledge, this is a different venture. I also found Agenda for Change, which you'll see has a very familiar looking list of members. I had a very basic look to see if Palestine was mentioned at all, but it came up short. I feel like unless I start making some phone calls into the ether, this is as far as I can go. I don't know what happened to EWASH. I've found it quite difficult to find anything recent that feels real and isn't written by insane people. It might just be my own ignorance, but I would love to know what happened. Did they dissolve the organisation? Any number of things could have happened, given how dire things are for Palestinians and the aid groups trying to help them. This is where my video falls flat on its face. The first draft of this script was very jovial, but as I learnt more about the organisation these stupid articles were pasted onto the website of, I realised I just needed to start again. I hope you don't feel any of this was making light of important issues. I really stumbled into this, and now I don't know what to do. EWASH was one of many NGOs working to provide aid, and you can still donate and stay informed in other places. Palestine Aid, UNICEF, and the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, among others. Maybe Defenders of the Future isn't so disconnected from what this video ended up being. The other big thing I want to say is that the Internet Archive is so important for making sure history isn't erased, and everyone with a screen available can access it. It doesn't just come in handy for clicking around nostalgic 2000s web pages for dolls, although I do enjoy that. It's a very useful tool for holding companies accountable and tracing back internet mysteries. This one wasn't satisfying. I didn't find all the answers, but I needed to chase it to some sort of conclusion at least. I don't want the internet to be taken over with AI articles. I suppose this ended up being a good advertisement for making your own website. I'll leave a couple of links in the description to places you can donate if you have anything to spare for both Palestinian aid and internet preservation. It's not perfect, it won't solve any big problems instantly, but collective action like this really is effective for people in need of aid. I feel dirty for having briefly enjoyed that Ecco article. Thank you for spending some time here. It's not plugged into my monitor. She's just swimming around in there.